Welcome back to the sanctuary of the soul, the library of hidden motives, and the only place on the digital landscape where we do not simply consume the news, we psychoanalyze the silence between the headlines. You are watching Mr. Magazine. We live in a world where visibility is the currency of fame. We expect our stars to be on 24 hours a day, posting stories, sharing locations, and living their lives in the shop window. But what happens when the lights go out? What happens when one of the most followed men in the country simply disappears? Today, we are opening the dossier on a night that the Turkish entertainment world will not soon forget. It is the story of Akın Akınözü and the night he vanished into the shadows, leaving behind a terrified partner, a confused inner circle, and a social media storm that threatened to spiral out of control. We are talking about the night Ebru Şahin sat by the window, watching the sun come up, wondering if the man she loved was ever coming back. This is not a story about a scandal. It is a story about the crushing weight of expectation, the fragility of the human mind, and the immense, quiet strength of a woman who refused to give up on her partner when he hit his breaking point. Before we step into that quiet house and witness the confrontation that changed everything, I must ask you to solidify your alliance with us. If you value depth over drama, destroy that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. And for those of you who wish to become the executive producers of this channel, the true patrons of intelligent journalism, that join button is waiting for your pledge. Your support is the heartbeat of Mr. Magazine. Don't forget to like this video right now to help us break the algorithm and spread the truth. Are you ready? Let us go back to the night the clock stopped ticking. The evening began as a portrait of domestic tranquility. According to insiders, Akın and Ebru were enjoying the kind of quiet night that celebrity couples cherish like gold dust. No cameras, no scripts, no managers. Just two people in their sanctuary, shielded from the noise of the outside world. It was a scene of perfect normalcy. However, the atmosphere shifted with the vibration of a phone. It wasn't a call, it was a series of text messages. To the naked eye, nothing seemed amiss. Akın checked his screen, and for a moment, the mask slipped. A thoughtful expression darkened his features, a micro-expression of burden that Ebru, with her intuitive connection to him, noticed immediately. But Akın, ever the protector, ever the stoic, quickly reassembled his composure. He smiled. He downplayed it. "I need some fresh air," he said. It is the most common sentence in the world, yet in hindsight, it was a cry for help. Ebru, trusting him implicitly, didn't panic. Why would she? A walk is just a walk. She assumed he would loop around the block and return to the warmth of their home. She didn't know that she was watching him walk into a personal abyss. The terror of the modern age is not just absence, it is disconnection. An hour passed. Then two. At first, Ebru dismissed the delay. Perhaps he ran into a friend, perhaps he just needed to walk off the stress of the week. But as the clock ticked past midnight, the silence began to scream. She called him. And this is where the nightmare truly began, his phone was off. In 2025, for a celebrity of Akın Akınözü's stature to turn off his phone and disable his location is unheard of. It is an act of erasure. It is a signal that says, "I do not want to be found." For Ebru, this was the moment anxiety turned into dread. She knew his habits. She knew his character. Akın is responsible, he is communicative. Leaving without a trace was completely out of character. She began to reach out to his inner circle, her voice trembling. He would never do something like this, she reportedly told friends. Something must have happened. The fear wasn't that he had left her, the fear was that the world had swallowed him whole. While Ebru fought her private battle within the walls of their home, a public storm was brewing outside. In the age of social media, secrets have a very short shelf life. Fans, those digital detectives who never sleep, began to notice the silence. Comments started to trickle in, then flood, "Where is Akın? Is everything all right?" The press, sensing blood in the water, mobilized. Reporters visited the haunts where Akın was frequently seen, his favorite cafes, the gym, the local parks. Nothing. He was nowhere to be found. The mystery deepened, feeding the rumor mill. Was it a kidnapping? An accident? A secret flight out of the country? The juxtaposition was cruel. While the internet buzzed with wild theories and hashtags, Ebru was living the stark reality of the unknown. She stayed awake until dawn, pacing the floors, calling her family, her eyes glued to the door, waiting for the sound of a key in the lock. It was a vigil of pure endurance. The dawn brings truth, they say. And in this case, it brought Akın. He finally appeared as the first light flooded the house. But this was not the triumphant return of a hero. His entry was quiet, almost ghostly. He avoided the press, slipping back into his sanctuary unseen. When Ebru saw him, the relief was so intense it was physical. But it was quickly followed by shock. The man standing in the doorway was a shadow of himself. He was described as tired, worried, and emotional. The weight on his shoulders was visible. This wasn't a man who had been out partying, this was a man who had been wrestling with demons. Ebru felt a complex cocktail of emotions, profound relief that he was alive, anger that he had left her alone in the dark, and deep anxiety about his state. But she saw the weary expression on his face, and her anger softened into concern. She realized that whatever had happened out there in the dark, he hadn't done it to hurt her. He had done it to save himself. What followed was perhaps the most honest conversation of their entire relationship. The confrontation was inevitable, but it didn't result in a fight, it resulted in a breakthrough. For the first time, Akın Akınözü dropped the armor. He spoke in detail about the pressures that had been suffocating him. The intense work schedule, the mounting expectations, the constant scrutiny, it had all coalesced into a feeling of being stuck. I can't remember a single time I felt so trapped, he confessed. I wanted a moment to think, but without realizing it, I dragged you into this uncertainty. This is the hidden cost of fame. We see the awards and the magazine covers, we don't see the claustrophobia. Akın had reached a breaking point where the only way to breathe was to disconnect from everything, including the woman he loved. It was a desperate attempt to find his own center again. Ebru Şahin's reaction to this confession defines her character. She had every right to be furious. She had spent the night in hell. But instead of lashing out, she listened. She expressed her feelings with complete honesty, telling him that leaving without warning had damaged the fragile nature of their trust. She didn't sugarcoat the pain he had caused her. But as Akın explained his mental state, her resentment was replaced by empathy. For long hours, as the city woke up outside, they sat in silence, talked, thought, and embraced. They offered each other comfort. This wasn't just a reconciliation, it was a deepening. They touched a level of emotional intimacy they had never reached before. Sources claimed that Akın was deeply moved by her compassion. In his darkest moment, she didn't judge him, she held him. She became the anchor he didn't know he needed. The fallout from this night has been transformative. It wasn't a stumble, it was a pivot point. Insiders report that Akın's disappearance was the start of a profound process of self-reflection. His friends admitted, we'd never seen him like this. He was so full. Recognizing that he cannot carry this burden alone, rumors suggest that Akın is willing to seek professional help. This is a massive step. It shows that he is prioritizing his mental health over his image. He is also reportedly re-evaluating his work schedule, understanding that he needs to create boundaries to survive. And what of the couple? They have decided to accelerate plans for a short vacation, a getaway to renew and calm their relationship. But this time, they are doing it together. They are escaping the noise, not each other. As we close the file on the night Akın Akınözü vanished, we are left with a powerful lesson. Even the strongest among us have a breaking point. Social media panicked, the press speculated, but in the quiet of their home, two people saved each other. Akın promised that this would not happen again, not because he is perfect, but because he now knows he doesn't have to face the darkness alone. They proved that love is not just about the happy times, it is about waiting through the long night and being there when the sun comes up. Now, I turn the microphone over to you, the brilliant audience of Mr. Magazine. Do you think the industry puts too much pressure on its stars? Have you ever felt trapped like Akın? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one of them. Please, do not forget to like this video if you appreciated the depth of this story. Subscribe to Mr. Magazine to ensure you never miss the truth, and consider hitting the join button to support independent, high-quality celebrity journalism. Until next time, check on your loved ones, and remember, sometimes the strongest thing you can do is ask for help. This is Mr. Magazine, signing off.